Hey Steve, how you doing? Well, thank you. Steve is the founder and director of Impact Art. You want to say a few words, Steve? We never get you in. But you want to say a few words?
Only to welcome everybody here. Mention how well the show has gone. Attendance has been really high because it's been such a good show. Enjoy.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you. Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. Isn't that one? You got yours. Yeah, come on, warm up a little bit.
Great. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Mia Felton, the Fellowship and Public Programs Coordinator here at Apex Art, and I'm thrilled to be with all of you for today's performance. This program is linked to our current New York City exhibition. Welcome Home is an Apex Art New York City open call mini exhibition on view here until this Saturday, July 27th. The exhibition interrogates the revolving door between mass incarceration and homelessness in Black American communities. In a moment, I'll be introducing you to the performers, but first a little about Apex. For those of you new to Apex Art, we are a non-profit arts organization with exhibitions and public programs taking place in New York City and internationally. This exhibition was selected through our unique democratic biannual open call process. Our jury takes the decision making out of our hands and instead allows our engaged global audience to select our exhibitions. If any of you are interested in becoming a juror, you can send us an email at juror@apexart.org. I would like to take the time to acknowledge the work of our wonderful Apex Art team, Ryan Soper, Lisa Magnoni, Ash Hagerstrand, and Apex Art founder and executive director Stephen Rand. We are live streaming this performance. The recording will be posted on the event page on our website. For those watching our live stream, we'll be dropping links into the chat, some of which will let you dive deeper into this compelling exhibition. If you would like to use closed captions, you can put the CC at the bottom of your screen. This is our penultimate public program in conjunction with Welcome Home, so please check the exhibition page on our website for the final event. Follow us to keep an eye on our future activities, and for those online, pop into the event if you can. And now I'll introduce the performers. Alex Anderson, Bruce Blake, Ashley Vasquez, and Rory Anderson are artists and leading members of the Reentry Theater of Harlem, an avant-garde theater by and for returning citizens who have been directly impacted by the criminal legal system. RTH utilizes theatrical rites of passage to confront and overcome the shame, stigma, and trauma of incarceration, empowering people to transition from prison back to society through the arts. Thank you.
I wear this mask because I was born black, because I was born a boy, because I was born poor. I wear this mask because my father left me too soon, because my mother beat me too much, because I've been traumatized by the violence and poverty in my neighborhood. I wear this mask because I was diagnosed ODD, because I was labeled juvenile delinquent, because I was placed in the 600 segregated public school system to get a special education. I wear this mask because I was incarcerated, because I was sentenced to serve 5 to 15 years for possession of marijuana, because I recidivated. I wear this mask because I'm afraid. I'm afraid of us. I'm afraid of them. I'm afraid hurt people hurt people.
I wear this mask what you might think. Now, you might think that I have strength because of the statue you see before you. But my strength is internal. It comes from my mind, my heart, my spirit. There are those that might say that I think I know it all because of the way that I speak. But that's because information is so important to me. I'm curious about the world that I'm in, my environment. Information is my protection. When I look out of my eyes, I see the hypocrisy of democracy. When I listen with my ears, I hear talking heads whitewashing history again and telling me that slavery doesn't exist and they can burn books. No, that's not right. Something is wrong with that. You see, I have the problem of self-doubt. Is that my doubt or your doubt? About not being effective enough to do a job that I know I can do. And because I can't get a job, I can't get housing. And if I can't get housing, I don't exist. I have no address. All because I was formerly incarcerated. And that's for 25 years of my life. In maximum security prisons. If I have a regret, it's for not being able to be with my daughter, Zakia, whom I abandoned for 25 years of my life. If there's something that I want to say about my life, I would say the song that best describes it is Ball of Confusion by the Temptations. Now, some of you might know. The sale of pills are at an all-time high. The young folks walk around with their head in the sky. Cities ablaze in the summertime, and oh, it's still applicable today. Yeah, Big Pharma is trying to get all of us hooked on one pill or another. Our children living in the metaverse and on the internet. Their heads are always in the sky. And global warming is real. We just had 90 degrees for 2 weeks straight. The seas are rising, forest fires everywhere. This is a problem. And I know to say this, that because you might think that this body you see before you, the strength comes from here, but the strength is internal. It's in my heart, my mind, and my spirit. And as I said to you before, information is my protection. That's why I wear this mask.
A man fell into a hole, couldn't get out. One day he saw a psychiatrist, and he called out, "Psychiatrist! Psychiatrist! I fell into this hole and I can't get out. Can you help me get out?" The psychiatrist heard the man's voice, looked around, didn't see the man, and kept on going. So the next day, the man saw a social worker, and he called out, "Social worker! Social worker! I fell in this hole and I can't get out. Can you help me get out?" The social worker also heard the man's voice, looked around, didn't see the man. So the next day, the man saw his pastor, and he called out, "Pastor! Pastor! Fell in this hole, can't get out. Can you help me get out?" The pastor also heard the man's voice, looked around, didn't see the man, kept on going. Eventually, the man became angry, frustrated, upset, and he gave up. That man in that hole was me. This is why I'm not taking off my mask, because if I take off my mask, you won't even see me. I'm not taking off my mask.
I want to take my mask off, but I'm not. They still won't change their mind about me. I want to take my mask off, but I'm not. Every day that passes, it becomes more Ashley. I want to take my mask off, but I'm not. Through these insane years, I've fought who I'm eventually supposed to be. I want to take my mask off, but I'm not. Lord, I'm being down to the ground, soaking the pavement with my tears. Do you hear me? I want to take my mask off, but I'm not. The lies they tell have consumed and molded me. This isn't the freedom that I've dreamed of. I want to take my mask off, but I can't. How do I find happiness now? I'm already in too deep. I want to take my mask off. Soon I will. No matter the pay and the price I have to, I will continue to live this way. I want to take my mask off, and that starts with me today. No matter how scary it'll be, I'm destined to be the best Ashley, not for others, but definitely for me. And today I reclaim that. I'm going to take my mask off today to reclaim my self-identity.
That's right. Let's take our masks off. Come on, brothers, join me. I'm going to take off my mask and reclaim my humanity.
Yes, you're right. All right. I'll take off my mask. I'll take off my mask and reclaim my creativity.
I hear y'all. I'm gonna take off my mask. I'm gonna take off my mask because I was born human, because I was born African American, because I was born poor. Blessed are the poor. I'm gonna take off my mask because I'm not a convict. I served my time. I've been redeemed by my community. I'm gonna take off my mask because I'm not afraid. Because I'm not afraid of us and I'm not afraid of them. I'm gonna take off my mask because healed people heal people. Thank you.
And I ask you now, because I think that we all wear masks, whether we know it or not. But I want to ask you, if you know that you have one, remove your mask and reclaim your own humanity. Please.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hold up! It ain't over yet. We always end our performances with a celebration song. So let's go get the clapping. Come on! Clap your hands up! Clap your hands up! Clap your hands up! Clap your hands up! Ready? Get it up and shine your light. You don't have to live in the darkness no more. Just turn around and shine bright. That's the key to open freedom door. I said, that's the key to open freedom door. Hold it up and shine bright. Right for your freedom. You got to live in the dark to live in the light. Don't be wrong. Get up and shine your light. You don't have to live in the darkness no more. Just turn around and shine bright. That's your key to open freedom. I said, that's your key to open freedom. So, thank you.
Alright, if y'all want to have any questions to ask us questions. Thank y'all for coming. Earlier we did a piece to this where we talked about the creation of those masks and how we use materials that are used for healing and for medical purposes to create those masks because we truly believe they help heal broken hearts and troubled minds. Some of the people that are here participated earlier, and I would like to ask you, what was your experience? If you can join us, Catherine. Yeah, come on up here.
Erica? You are three participants?
Yeah. So each one of them participated in helping make the mask. It wasn't pre-scripted. We just asked and they jumped right in. Courageous people that they are. Go ahead.
Sure. Well, it was just like a really, I think, a beautiful experience to, I think the metaphor of it is very powerful because every strip of the mask is like a different stigma or trauma that you carry. And then kind of when it comes together into a mask and you kind of feel that heaviness on you and you're able to like lift that off of yourself, there's something really cathartic about it. And
I shared that
release.
experience too.
Earlier we talked about how vulnerable an experience it is because Alex was helping me make my mask and you're sitting there and someone is putting the plaster on your face. You're having a conversation, it's someone touching you very close, and you just, we're thinking about a lot of things, thinking about stigma, thinking about the things that have hurt you, and having someone be caring for you in that moment and helping you create that mask was just such a beautiful moment of connection and like rewarded vulnerability.
So that's what you see here. These have been painted, but these are originally what we did in terms of work. The ones that we had from this morning are along the side here. Each is individual, that's why each has its own structure in terms of this. And what we do is, actually for me, it's painting on the outside. So you see this. But what's going on the inside is something different totally sometimes. So that's why we talk about having this mask that we all wear. If people see us as certain things, we're lazy, we put these boxes, we have all kind of stigmas against us. So mental health, whatever it might be, we suffer from. So that's why we do this, and as they said, the release that I get, I've done this several times, and each time it's a different posture for me. I think it's like all art. If you look at it long enough, or if you look at it several times, you'll always see something different. It'll be something like, we mentioned earlier that someone saw this painting, which she had looked at for several times, and yet that's a face in there. You didn't see it all that time. For the first time you saw it. So each time that I go through this cathartic process, something else comes out. Something else new comes with it. So that's why I think this tool is so important. Especially for this process of what we do at Reentry Theater of Harlem.
One more member of our crew here is this is Sid, who's assistant director.
At the synagogue, tell me where you're from.
I work part-time at Central Synagogue, which has housed the last couple cohorts of Reentry Theater of Harlem. So we actually had a performance back in April, and some of these pieces were from that performance, and some are from previous cohorts. And we're actually, Alex is starting up a new cohort, and we're also going to have another cohort up in the Bronx. So if you know anybody that is looking for a community, is looking for an opportunity to connect, and then please, I'm sure talk to any of us, because it's a really wonderful space, and I've been just really moved and inspired.
Thank you so much. Several of Sid, Palace. Who else is an artist? Somebody that's super big here. Ashley. Artist. Something you wanna say?
Well, I'm a writer actually. actually I write poetry. I kind of stopped writer's block in school and all that stuff. So that happens, you know, when certain things happen in your life, you stop things that you like, certain hobbies and stuff like that. So I'm working back on it. I'm actually also in school for social work, so that stops a lot of the things that just, you know, stuff that you like to do for stuff that you have to do. So, yeah. So that's just a little bit about me.
Social work, 16 jobs.
Actually, the other one was two, but that's besides the point.
Erica's with us. Erica's been with us for quite a while. If you don't know, Erica started with us from during COVID. You want to say a little something, Erica, about your experience?
My experience was really good today. So I'm like you. I forgot how to say it, but I agree with what you said.
Yeah. Just a little story about Erica and her impact on the program. When Bruce first started, he was under the belief that he had a learning disability, so he couldn't remember this poem that he said. It was this poem, right? He said he couldn't remember the monologue because he had a learning disability. And Erica was the first one to say, "I wish you stopped saying that. You ain't got no learning disability." And he came back the next day. Right, and he came back the next day knowing his lines and said to me, "You know what? I don't have a learning disability." And all it took was her just to say, "Stop saying that because you don't." So sometimes, you know, we say things to ourselves to even disable ourselves from moving forward in life.
Based on someone else's philosophy or understanding.
Rory Anderson, this is my dad. Welcome him. I'm glad that he's here. He encourages me.
Chicago. That's all I'm gonna say. Chicago.
And of course, our elder and our statesman, James Brooks, also known as Sax. Thank you so much. Sax is always there to back us up. We have another musician who's also the painter. Who's also the painter of these arts. His name is Gregory Frederick, and he's a little under the weather, so he couldn't come today. But anyway. Gregory Fredericks couldn't be here today. He's a little under the weather, but I'm hoping that he's watching. We really admire and recognize him. He's truly a Renaissance man. He's a musician, a painter, an artist, a writer, truly a Renaissance man, and I'm glad to know him. I sit often in his space when he's doing this art. Rory was talking about earlier. I saw actually him putting this art together, and just today I saw a face in there that I never saw before, and I'm in there in the space all the time. But I saw a face, and I was like, "Is there a face?" Right? But yeah. Who am I missing? There's so many other people. Jerome. Yeah, there's so many. Oh, we can't forget Jerome. We can't forget. For a minute, they're like, "Who they talking about?" But Jerome, you want to say something? Come on. Jerome came to me, was it 2 years ago, and said, like, what do you think if I put this work that you're doing in an open call? And I was like, whatever, man.
You can be honest, you did not believe me at all.
Right. Because it was an international open call. It was Apex, you know, it was down here in Tribeca, and I thought the people in Tribeca don't want to hear anything we got to say. Right? You know, and that's how we disable ourselves. We tell ourselves things that's not true.
Negative self-talk.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jerome.
So what happened, Jerome?
I want to hear you.
So what happened, Jerome?
I don't have to. I met these guys. About 2 years ago, I think, when we were living here in New York. I saw a photograph, and it was Felix actually who's on that image, and who wrote the songs for this. Introduced me to Alex and his gang. I started filming and photographing, and 2 years after, I figured I never managed to escape from you guys. So you became the alibi and excuse to always come back to New York. I found your work very impactful. So I knew that whatever we would submit to this open call for Apex or anything else, I had full confidence that it would be powerful and good because I knew what you are capable of doing. So it was a pleasure to work with all of you in putting this show together. It was quite a roller coaster to put this all together, but we managed. You have managed. We had a beautiful series of events and performances. So I'm very happy that you could claim this stage and space to show other people what fantastic work.
Thank you, Jerome.
Jerome is also from Belgium, and Jerome's beautiful wife is here, and we welcome y'all and thank y'all for coming all the way this far to be a support for us. I also have to acknowledge my family from Humanities, New York, Sarah and Joe. You want to say something? Go ahead, Joe. You and Sarah. Come on.
Hi, I'm Joe Murphy. Very briefly, I'm Joe Murphy, Humanities New York, and Alex and team are part of our post-incarceration humanities partnership, which is to bring the discourse, the values, the perspectives of the humanities, whether that's philosophy, arts, literature, history, to bear on matters of incarceration, particularly reentry. And we've had quite a lot of fun over the last couple of years. This is my third or fourth time seeing the ritual, witnessing, as I like to say. And every time it's a testament to the transformation of lives over the course of decades and decades. And reflection, there's a lot of trauma brought up, but also that emphasis on how people change over the course of a lifetime. So it's been an honor to work with you. Everyone, I pretty much know everyone here from the Ritual for Return and Reentry Theater of Harlem team. Thank you for having us, and thank you all for joining on the video.
Please.
I am Sarah Oger, Executive Director of Humanities New York, and all I can say about this particular awardee and grantee of ours, and we like to bring money, so that's what we do, but is that we are on the learning end of this relationship, not the teaching, and I just can't say enough about your work and its transformation and its appeal to everyone, I think, and also kind of an acid test for the humanities, like, you guys are doing it. You're proving it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you. Who said, oh, I went to the focus, huh? Who's your address?
Alex?
Yeah.
We also Robin really wanted to be here, but is home because of some COVID exposure, but really is another person from Central Synagogue who's been in partnership with Alex for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Continue partnership.
Yes, and we thank you so much. We thank Central Synagogue so much. Central Synagogue has provided us, I mean, you can't tell it, the theater space that they provided us with is beautiful. I mean, it tops any theater space you see in New York, and we're so glad that it does. I mean, you can't, I mean, I've been to a couple of theater spaces, and it's a blessing just for us to be working in that space. Can't say too much more about it. Thank you, Rabbi Healy, if you're out there watching. Thank you as well in your face, and we see each
If
other.
I may?
Go ahead.
I want to thank Apex Art Studio. And continue this work. I know we're not closing. There'll be more to come in the same space. So be on the lookout for what's coming next. And always keep this in your email address. Please share your email with us. Make sure that they have this information. Thank you all for coming out.
Thank y'all for coming out.
Anybody have any questions?
You opened the floor for questions and then didn't take any questions.
You have questions? You have any questions?
Oh, yeah.
You have any questions? Please.
Okay.
See? Okay, there goes Joe.
Question for everybody, but like I mentioned a moment ago, I have like 3 or 4 rituals at witness. Most of them have finished with the sort of celebratory song at the end. But I've seen some rituals without that at the end. I'm wondering when you all incorporated that into the piece and why, because it's such a powerful contrast to the more sort of monologue aspect of the program.
I was sitting home one day and and I got a call from Alex. And Alex said, Bruce, I got this song, and it's got a rap piece to it too. And I need you to do it. So I went over to his house, and we learned the song, and we had a few people, because we had to come up with the rhythm, and we had to come up with the way I'm gonna rap this thing. So we had a guy that used to work with us. He used to play the piano. His name was Double G. His wife sung it. So we asked him. Then it's too slow. So then I put it into a gospel, so I try to up-tempo it. It's not gonna work. So what happened was, I let go and I let God. And he gave me the rhythm. He gave me the movement. So I said, Alex, we're gonna do it this way. And it was a hit. So Alex says, well, Bruce, every performance that we do, we're gonna call that our ending celebration song. So every time you come to see Reentry Theater of Harlem perform, you better believe you're gonna hear that song.
Yeah, because we truly believe the transformative process ends in a celebration. Our rites of passage do end, right, with a celebration of taking off the mask, stepping into a new life, right? We feel it requires celebration, and that's something to celebrate. So, and like we said, I think, like you said, Joe, it's a very heavy piece that we're laying on y'all. So when we end, we want to help lift y'all out of that space into more celebratory kind of process.
Right.
And the other part is that the song says itself, shine your light. So now that you've gotten past some of the other things and taken off your mask, you can now let your light be revealed.
And you don't have to live in darkness anymore.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Catherine is from Syracuse. She did the internet, but came all the way from Syracuse to see this process. And actually, Joe, she works with Patrick Beverly. Yeah, and he sent it down here to Spiral. But I'm actually going to Syracuse September. We're going to Syracuse and do some work like this up in Syracuse. The thing about it is Syracuse University is from Syracuse University, and actually when I was incarcerated, I got my degree, my undergraduate, from Syracuse University while I was in prison. So for me, here again is a very transformative and empowering experience that when they told me that, I was like, wow, this blows me away, because it sort of brings me full circle back to Syracuse and back to Auburn prison and stuff. So it's again, this process, I think earlier someone said, when we was talking about having to keep removing it because of life experiences, you keep removing, having to keep experiencing the trauma of wearing the mask because of life. Here again is a process that helps elevate me out of that whole mindset of being convicted, being looked upon in society as a convict or outcast. Here again is just because of this work, I'm able to elevate and empower myself. So it always keeps working, not just for me. I've been doing it for a while, but it just keeps working for all of us. That tells me that the work is worth it too. I actually traveled down here, had hard times coming from work.
Yeah, actually, I just
Coming from work and had a hard time because I gave her wrong directions. And didn't give her the address of the place, so she was in Brooklyn somewhere looking for a canal street. We're laughing now, but y'all didn't hear her on the phone. Y'all didn't hear her on the phone.
And then they answer the phone after.
She's laughing now, but y'all didn't hear how she was talking on the way here. how she was talking. I was like, well, you gotta calm down. We didn't ready before. Don't tell me that. You had me come over here. Right, but thank you so much. Thank you for staying in the process. You know, when we was walking here, she said something to me that really helped my heart. She said, what did you say? How you say? You better be glad I love you. That's what she said. You better be glad I love you.
I didn't mean it that way. I didn't mean it that way. I mean, like, I literally have managed a Starbucks in Hartsdale, so I just sold coffee to people for 8 hours. So that's how I meant it. I mean, like, I love you in the sense where this is important to me. You know, coming here is important to me. So even if I just spent 8 hours selling coffee and managing a whole store, I still want to come and be here to support you because it's still a part of me who I am. So that's my
Thank you so much. I appreciate you too so much, and I'm glad you came.
Don't make me look bad.
No, I just want to tell you her spirit is very beautiful. Very loud. She's a youngster. He's an elder. And the other one over there is an elder. She's an elder. And she's our youngest. And we're happy to have her a part of this.
Turn around, look at this camera.
Oh.
That's why we made you the elder.
Thank you so much. I always thank Bruce. Like he said, you know, we did a lot of work together. That's not our only song though. We wrote, I think, two other songs. We wrote 2 other songs afterwards. We got so good at it.
I wrote a song. You want to hear it?
There you go.
It's actually a joke. It's a running joke.
It's a living color.
Yeah, we wrote another song. All right. So yeah. I was kind of short.
Alex, why some people were not here this morning. Can you explain why and how you started the Reentry Theater?
Okay, so earlier this morning we were talking. Y'all want to sit down? We can sit down. Don't want to sit down. I don't want to get one. But earlier we was talking about a couple of things. And one of the most important things that we were talking about is the material that we use. That was one of the most important things we were talking about. And the material that we use, we recognize it's a healing material. It's called plaster of Paris, and it's made from calcium sulfate hydrate. That's it. Calcium sulfate.
Close enough.
So yeah, and it's a healing material. And I always get calcium sulfate hydrate. It's a material that's used in the medical field and for therapeutic purposes. They also use it in dentistry to create bridges and teeth and stuff like that. But it's mostly been used in civilization for a long time, but it's been used to heal bones, right? Because once you put the plaster on and you mix it with water, it becomes solid and it holds things together. It has strong resilience, and it helps people heal. So we use the material, right, metaphorically. I think that's a word that somebody used earlier. We use the material metaphorically in healing trauma and also in healing broken hearts and broken spirits. And we use it also in people with experiencing troubled minds, having problems trying to organize. We say some of the properties of the mass in terms of its endurance. We repurpose that to mean resilience. That in this process of coming home, individuals have to be resilient, have to be transformed, has to be helped in this process. So earlier, and I don't want to go over everything we went over earlier because we said a lot earlier. I think you can watch it. You can watch it if you go online and hear the whole narrative about the property of the material, about what we use it for, about what we use Reentry Theater of Harlem for, and that Reentry Theater of Harlem is a program that sort of grew out of another program called Ritual for Return, which focuses on ritual. But Reentry Theater of Harlem took it a little step further. We are focusing now on performing arts and theater, not just ritual, but performing arts and theater, where people tell their stories, they craft their stories, and then they also transform their stories in the process. We did it kind of short, but usually our performances, like you said, Joe, they usually last about 45 minutes. It's a whole performance. It involves a lot of people, sometimes 10 people, 12 people can involve. So it takes a lot of time to put it together. Sid has been with us now and helping us. Sid is also a teaching artist and a theater artist, and we're happy to have Sid Dave in our space. Is there anything else you want to know?
Well, the other part is that on that, what you're saying, they can look at online.
They can look at it.
You'll actually see us make this mask. And the people that came up that participated in that process. And in the course of that, we were talking about what each layer represents to each individual. That someone is putting it on, because you can do this yourself. But when someone else is doing it, it's a chance to tell the story as well. To confide in someone else. Gives a sense of intimacy. And as she said before, your vulnerabilities. Because the only way that you can really gain courage, I think, is to face your fears.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go past that. You have to get involved with yourself to move forward. I don't want to coin that phrase we talked about earlier. But my thing is that if you don't evolve, you evolve. So you have to keep trying to move forward, keep trying to change, keep trying to evolve as a human being. In every aspect of it. Your physical, your mental, your spiritual. So before we leave here, I would hope that each one of you introduce yourselves to each other. Don't just walk out of here and then go on about this. You never know who the other person might be right next to you. Or just you saying hello, what that might mean to them. Because I've seen the difference that doing this performance makes in others' lives. And I sometimes didn't know. I was telling a young lady about a time when I performed in another program, but saved a young lady from committing suicide. So I talked about my time and how I dealt with isolation and solitary confinement for the many years that I did. And I had no idea. She just happened to come into the theater that day. It's actually a drama class in the New Brunswick campus of Rutgers. And, the door's open. She came and sat down. But she really had a plan on killing herself that day. And because she came into that room and heard me speak and listened to what was said, and we got a chance to talk afterwards, I was able to give her the help that she needed. So you never know what we talk about, how we impact on each other. I come from the time in Harlem when it was each one teach one. That was the motto. So I grew up with that as a adage in my life. It's always in part of what I do. So I would hope again, and this is something that my brother Gregory always says, don't leave this room without introducing yourself to someone else. Shake someone's hand. Connect with another human being. That's all I can ask.
Thank you, Roy. I want to just add on to something Rory said a few minutes ago when he talked about, and what I want to say is that Reentry Theater of Harlem is just not a theater program, like a regular theater program. There are a lot of theater programs, but it's not a regular theater program. Our focus is on helping people heal. That's our focus. And we use the performing arts, we use theater and all the techniques in theater to help people heal and transform. I was always amazed how people go into character. To me, Denzel Roll in Training Day, when he was standing in the middle of the street and screaming out that King Kong didn't have nothing on him. To me that was a very powerful scene because it said to me, I know that man is not really like that, but yet I'm convinced that he is. And that was really powerful because it said to me how acting can help change someone's perspective if you can master that skill. So thank y'all so much for allowing us to demonstrate to y'all what we are trying to create. We're still growing, we're still changing, metamorphosing, which tells me that we are alive and that we are well, because when you're not well, you don't grow. When you're not well, you don't change. And what we're trying to do is bring that change and that wellness and health to individuals who are coming out of facilities and places of incarceration, experiencing trauma and torture and all those things, and get out and get released, like Roy said earlier, and told just to go on about your business and move past what happened to you, that it doesn't, we don't move past it unless we get some support. And that support has to come from the community, people just like y'all. And oh yeah, I got a whole stuff to read to y'all. I know people like, oh,
I forgot to mention he's also.
Yeah, I'm trying comedy now. Listen, I'm doing good. I'm learning how to be a playwright.
He's constantly working on me.
Now I'm practicing comedy, right? And I'm gonna tell y'all a joke, so we can leave with a joke. Right?
Please,
Well, yeah, I gotta hear this. All right. So a friend of mine went on vacation, right? And while he was in the islands, he ran into this pet shop that had this bird, beautiful bird. And he went in and asked the proprietor how much was the bird. And the proprietor said, look, that bird is very expensive because it can talk. Say something to the bird. And he said, hi, pretty bird. And the bird ran back to him. Hi, how you doing? How's your trip? How's your vacation here? And he was like, wow, that's amazing. So he said, let me buy this bird and send it home to my mother for her birthday. And about 2 weeks later, he calls Mom. Hey, Moms, how's it going? She said, it's going great. He said, how was the bird I sent you? She said, oh, it was delicious. And he said, Mom, you ate the bird? She said, yeah, it was good. He said, but Mom, that bird can talk. She said, well, why didn't you say something? Say something. That's all I'm saying to you. Say something. Don't say.
That's a lot.
Listen, that is funny. All right, that's about it.